Hi, I'm Joy, and this is Yoga with Joy. This is my channel. Today I'm taking you through a really kind of peaceful practice, really. It's quite a Hatha yoga practice, so it feels quite traditional in some ways, but it's quite varied as well. There's a bit of a flow. So yeah, it's actually just how I was feeling when I was filming. So it kind of takes a little journey. It's quite peaceful. So yeah, if you need anything to sit on, like a blanket or a cushion or anything like that, please grab it now. Other than that, there might be times when you would like a block or something to like help you out a little bit. So I do kind of mention things like that in the practice, but really it's one that you can do without anything. Just nice gentle practice. Thank you for joining me, and please subscribe to my channel down below if you haven't already. This really helps me. So yeah, grab a mat. See you in a minute.
Oh, radiant sun, pure consciousness, flaming orb of truth and bliss, remove the veil so I can see, illuminate my heart, awaken me.
So find yourself in a comfortable seated position. So that might be sitting cross-legged, like I'm going to, or it might be kneeling. And we'll start by just taking a little bit of time to center ourselves. So if you need a blanket, I think I'm going to use a blanket to sit on. So if you need a blanket or a cushion or anything to sit on, you can. Just making yourself as comfortable as possible. We'll begin by gently deepening our inhale through the nose and lengthening the exhale through the nose. Notice how your heart is gently resting over your hips, and your head is gently resting over your heart as you inhale. Notice how your shoulders and arms soften as you exhale. Lifting through the crown as you breathe in. A gentle softening of your brow, your jaw, your cheeks, back of the neck as you breathe out. And then opening your eyes, bring the hands to the heart center. Inhale, lifting up, and exhale over to the side. Inhale, lift, exhale over to the side. Feeling the side stretch all the way up from your hip, through your ribs, right through your arm. Inhale up and over. So really, with the breath, we're gently encouraging the muscles to release and relax as we breathe deeply. Inhale up, exhale over. Lovely. Fantastic. Okay, so reaching up and then exhale, opening up, clasping. Inhale. Exhale on the movement. Inhale up, stretching up, and then exhaling, and then inhale, clasping. Exhale on the movement. Inhale up. And exhale, clasping behind the back so the hands are together. And then bringing the hands back to the knees. So now we're gently lifting through the crown and then exhaling over into the twist. Lifting and exhaling. Inhale, lifting, and then exhale, bring yourself back to center. Taking a breath in, lengthening through the crown, and then exhale over to the side. Inhale, lift, exhale, gently soften into the twist. Inhale and exhale. So when we twist, we're doing a seated twist like this, we're putting our back hand, as it were, in this case my left hand, behind. Exhale, breath in, and exhaling back to center. Lovely. Okay, so we'll bring our feet together, and now I don't want anything under my hips, so I place my blanket back, so see how you feel about that. So feet together, have a bit of a wide Badhakonasana here, so it's not really close, but just a bit further away from your pelvis. Inhale, lifting up, and exhale, fold forward. Inhale, breath in. Exhale, fold. Inhale and exhale. And then gently exhaling yourself back up and bringing the knees together. It's lovely. And then bring yourself onto all fours. So your knees are below your hips and your hands are below your shoulders. And let's start with gently moving the hips from side to side. So we're swaying the hips in a figure of 8 from side to side. Lots of nice deep breaths. And then bringing the hips back to stillness, so you're back in neutral. And then let's bring a flowing cat into it. So we're inhaling up and then exhale, lifting the spine and gently coming back. Inhale, scooping. Exhale, lifting up your mula bandha, your pelvic floor and your tummy muscles, and bringing yourself down. Inhale, releasing that area, and then exhale, lifting up, again, pelvic floor, abdominals. Lovely flow. Bringing the body, the spine back to stillness. We'll inhale, there's much more controlled movement. Inhale, look up from the ears. Exhale, lifting up abdominals, pelvic floor, looking down between your knees. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale, looking up, and then exhale, finding your way back to child. So your knees are not right out at the edge of the mat. They're still about hip width apart, maybe a little bit wider, and just gently resting here. If you need to make room for belly or anything like that, you can widen the knees, that's fine. So really enjoy the stretch, the gentle, relaxed Balasana child. If you find that it's hard for you to or it's like stretching your knees a bit, that's how some people find it, you can also place a blanket behind your knees, like this. Or a blanket under your knees if it's hurting your knees in another way. And then we'll start to move the hands over to the left, stretching out the side body. Taking a few breaths here. And then gently move the hands forward. And then over to the right. Lots of deep, long breaths. And then back to center. Fantastic. So from here we'll come back up to cat, but then we'll have a bit of a slightly wider stance so our knees are further back. And we'll rock forward, see how that is, inhale. And then exhale back to almost back to child. Inhale forwards. Exhale back. Keeping the shoulders soft away from the ears. And then bringing the knees in so that they're hip width apart. Turn the toes around and we'll come up into plank. You might want to adjust your arms so that they're below your shoulders. So coming up into a nice strong plank, but it might be that your knees are down. So keep your knees down if you need to. Otherwise come up into a strong plank. And that means you're really engaging your abdominal muscles and your pelvic floor. Really strong. You're like a plank of wood. You're not lifting up like this or lifting down like falling down like this. You're keeping yourself nice and straight. And then lower the knees down. Lower the chest down and the chin down. And we're coming to Ashtangasana. So this is 8-point posture. Your shoulders, sorry, not your shoulders, elbows in at your sides. Lay yourself down. And bring yourself up into Sphinx. So you're coming onto your forearms and looking forward. Oh, and gently relax here in Sphinx. So this is a bit of a lower back bend, but it's a bit less intense than Cobra. It's different. See how you feel. And then exhale, bring yourself down and rest on your palms, also the backs of your hands, your palms facing down. Then bringing the hands so that they're just near the shoulders, elbows are in. Inhale up and coming up either to a high cobra like this, or you're going to just stay down like in a baby cobra. Exhale down. One more time. Inhale up. Exhale down. And then resting your palms down, turning your head the other way. And just resting for a moment. And if you found that strong on your back, you can just rock out your hips. So it can be quite nice to release out your hips if it is strong. Bringing the hands near your shoulders again and the elbows in. Bring yourself up onto your knees, turning your toes round, and then we're going to hover. So have a little moment here with the strong abdominal muscles lifting up from your pelvic floor. And then exhale back into a half downward dog. Bent knees. lift up into a cute dog right on your tiptoes. Straight legs. And exhaling back. And you can walk out your downward dog now. One heel at a time. And then let's gently walk the feet towards the hands. So one short step at a time. So it'll be like, maybe like 2 toes worth, 2 big toes worth. So just coming up and then bending your knees and hanging forward. You're in Uttanasana, forward fold. And then lifting up with your hands on your shins, flat back, inhale. Exhale, fold forward. So it's okay if your knees are quite bent, and it doesn't mean you have to inhale, flat back, exhale, fold forward. You don't have to be like touching the floor, that's fine. Might be your knees are bent, or it might be you're just up here a little bit, so see how it is. Exhale, lovely. And then bring the hands in front of you, and then wide, bringing them wide out. We're going to, careful of your lower back, bring them up above the head, and then back down to the heart center, so that they're resting here in Namaste at your heart. So stay where you are on the mat if you can still see me fine. I'm just going to turn to face you for standing. Tadasana, the mountain. So my feet are hip width apart, the outside edge are in line with the mat. Lift up my toes, and then we're going to place the toes down one at a time. Little toe first, and then the whatever that toe is, the 4th toe, middle toe, 2nd toe, and then the big toe. And then lifting up through the arches of the feet. And when you do that, you're really engaging all the legs up here. Lifting up your kneecaps, engaging all those muscles and giving yourself a nice strong foundation. Lovely, strong abdominal muscles. Opening up the chest a little bit. Soften the shoulders. You can soften your brow and your face muscles. Loosen your jaw. So your lips might be just gently touching. Your arms just by your side. And then gently lift up onto tiptoes. And then exhale down. We'll do it on the inhale up. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhaling up. Exhale. Wonderful. And so now we're going to come into Garudasanana. So this is Garuda, the vehicle of Vishnu, a mythical creature with eagle wings and eagle beak. So there's lots of wonderful myths about Garuda. So placing your left leg down, and then lifting up the right leg, and then bringing it over. So you're either just going to put your toe down like this, so that that's enough of a bind. Otherwise, you're coming up here, so you're binding so that the foot is off the mat, or you're doing a full. I'm wobbling. Or you're doing a full bind like so. So that's with the legs, and then the hands. We're bringing the upper arm parallel to the mat, the palms in at our side, and if we've got the right leg on top, we've got the left arm on top. So the left arm is coming on top into the crease of the right elbow. Hope you can still hear me. Yeah, right elbow. And then I'm bringing the palms together, and the thumbs, as much as possible, are facing towards my face. So see how that is. If that's too much, what you do is you place your left arm on top of the right, and you can just hold your shoulders like this. That's a nice little preliminary. You don't have to do the full thing. So you could just be doing this and that's fine. Okay, wonderful. So we'll actually start with the arms. So bringing the upper arm parallel to the mat, the palms in, bringing your forearms towards your face, and then placing your left arm on top, and then bringing your hands into prayer as much as possible. Just do whatever you can. And then your thumbs are towards your face. And then weighing down on your left leg, lift up the right leg, and then bring in whatever you want to do. So you're lifting up the right leg and putting it over. So you've got either your toe down, or the foot is off the mat and you're balancing, or you're doing a full bind. And so the focus is at the third eye. So a deep, a kind of quite a blurry gaze. Taking strong, deep breaths. I'm going to need to lower my foot. So don't look at me, for goodness sake. I'll make you wobble. So deep breaths. And then you can start to fold forward like you're coming over a cliff. I'll make a video for this of how to do this, and I'll pop it up later when I've done it. I'll pop it up in the above us so you can click on that. And practice this one, it's hard. Bringing your hands back up. And if you lift your elbows up, it actually strengthens the pose, strengthens the shoulder stretch. Releasing the arms out and then releasing the legs out. How does that feel? It's a strong one, isn't it? Goodness me. I'm just going to straighten this mat. And then we'll come to the other side. So that's strong on your shoulders. So just releasing them out. And then you'll be planting your left leg and doing the same, over like this, however which way. But we'll come to the arms first. So this time it's going to be right on top because your left leg is going to be on top. So we're bringing the upper arms parallel with the mat, bringing in your forearms and your palms facing towards you. Bringing your forearms so they're in front of your face, placing the right arm on top, and then bringing the hands together like you're in prayer with the thumbs facing towards you. Now planting your left leg, so now you're bending your left knee, the right leg, goodness me, plant your right leg so that you're bending your right knee, lift up your left leg and place it over. So either you've got your toe down on the mat, otherwise you're lifting up your foot, or you're doing the full bind, which is actually quite tricky. And I love to do it, but it's hard when I'm teaching, so I'll just do whatever I can. So lifting up, if you do lift up the upper arms, it helps you have a stronger stretch on your shoulders. And then start to bring yourself forward. Soft eye gaze at the third eye, so just imagining it's all lovely and soft. And bring yourself forward like you're coming like an eagle looking over the cliff. And then bring yourself up. And then releasing your arms and releasing your legs. Whew, how did you do? I didn't do so well on that one. Well, it was great. I enjoyed it, but it was more that I couldn't bind my legs so well. Okay, wonderful. So bringing ourselves back into Dasana for a moment, hands at the heart. Moment of resting with the hands at the heart, and then opening up the legs. And we're going to turn around the right foot so that the right heel is in line with the left arch. So we're not really far apart. We're just, I don't know, roughly a meter, but that depends on how long your legs are. You could go with ankle to wrist is one way, but because we're going to do Trikonasana, we'll just bring it in a little bit from that. So opening up your arms so that they're parallel with the mat. And we can bend the knees slightly. We're going to be coming into triangle posture, so we'll be straightening the knee. And then feeling energy moving you forward, and then finding a place which is comfortable for you with the back of your hand on either your lower leg or even up here, your upper leg or your knee. You might be right down here clasping your foot. Just see how it is. But if you have your palms open, opening up the chest, straighten your leg, your front leg is now straight. Lifting up through your left arm, feeling the energy from the heart all the way through your hands. And then gently bring yourself back up, feeling the pulling as you come back up, turning the toes forward. And then widen the legs slightly. We're going to come into Prasarita Padottonasana, so lifting through the crown of the head, exhaling forward. This is the wide leg forward fold. Lifting through the arch of your feet here, and then exhaling, folding forward. Careful of your lower back. Deep, lovely breaths. And then gently bring yourself back up so that you've got a flat back. Bending your knees, bring your hands to the hips, and then gently make your way back up. Fantastic. And then turning your left foot round, you can heel toe in the back foot, so you're shortening your stance again for Trikonasana a little bit. And then you can bend, you've got heel to arch alignment, so your left heel is aligned with your right arch. Bend the left knee a little bit to prepare. Open up your arms so they're parallel with the mat. Gently feeling the left arm being guided forward. And then straighten your left knee, this one here, and finding your place. Might be up here, might be down here, might be clasping the foot or having your hand on the mat. See how that is? But it's important you're in a triangle posture, so the posture's not slumping forward or anything like that. So you're lifting through the right arm, from the energy coming from the heart, right through the right arm and down through the left arm. And a couple of breaths here. And then bring yourself back up. Now I have got a tutorial on how to do Trikonasana, so I'll pop it up above. Bring yourself so you're facing forward. And then bringing the feet together back into Tadasana, mountain, hands at the heart. Have a moment with your eyes closed. And then if you're not already, step to the front of the mat. Bring the hands out, lift up, exhale, folding forwards. Inhale, flat back with your hands on your shins. Exhale, fold forwards. Take a breath in, and then exhale, step back to downward facing dog. Take a couple of breaths in downward dog. Really feel the stretch out of the mid back and your legs. And then from downward dog, lowering the knees down and gently moving back into child. This time we'll open the knees wide and come into an extended child. Just resting here for a moment. And then we could lift up our arms and place our fingers into, kind of cup our fingers out and give back a little bit of a stretch as we exhale forward. Inhale, lift ourselves up, and then exhale forward. Exhaling. And then bring the hands down, rest the hands here. And gently bring ourselves up. Scoot forward on your mat if you're back, quite far back on your mat. And then we'll bring the legs together, so the thighs are together and the lower leg outside. So this is Vajrasana, the diamond posture. Now, if this is really uncomfortable for you, because it is for some people love it, but some people not so much, you could just come into kneeling if it's too much. But if it's okay for you, you can either just stay here and just rest here with your hands at the heart. It's an amazing quad stretch, but be careful of your knees. If it's hurting your knees at all, then opt out of this one. Hands at the heart, feeling yourself lifting from the crown of the head. And then gently, if you can do this, you're gently moving backwards and coming onto your forearms, resting on your elbows, but you've still got your knees together. So be careful of your lower back, because it's quite arches your lower back a bit. And if you have a bolster, you can always do this back onto a bolster as well. So keeping your head looking straight ahead. But if it's okay and it's all right for your neck, you could even look back. It's a bit of a crazy back bend, really. Now, I don't go further than this usually, but if you're someone who can go further and you can keep your thighs together, then you can go back and you can clasp your elbows, hold your elbows. But I find that's just too much for me. So I'm going to stay up here and just have a couple more breaths. And then gently move yourself up. Then bringing your legs underneath you and rolling them in front, and we'll find our way onto the mat. That's nice. And that was a bit of a strong back bend, so we'll bring our knees into the chest and just roll around from side to side. Rock left and rock right. That's nice. And bring the hands onto the knees and bring the knees together in circles and away from each other. Exhaling them together and then away from each other. Lots of nice deep breaths. And then placing your legs down onto the feet down onto the mat, so your feet are hip width apart and your knees are hip width apart. Your hands are by your side, your palms are down, and then gently tilt up the pelvis. So exhale, lift up your Mula Bandha, your pelvic floor, and your sacrum, and then inhale back down. Exhale up. You're pressing your lower back into the mat. Exhale. And now we're going to come up into bridge. So peeling the vertebrae off the mat, lifting up, adjusting so you're coming up onto your shoulders here. Lift up. Now careful you're not widening your knees. So you're keeping your knees hip width apart. So if you need to put a block in between, grab a block like from there and pop it in between. Or something like that, or a ball, a squishy ball. And here we are up in the bridge posture, sometimes known as Setu Bandhasana. Deep, lovely, long breaths. And then exhaling down. One more time. Bring yourself up, tilting the pelvis, and then coming up, peeling your vertebrae off the mat, up into bridge, and you can clasp underneath if you wish. Or you could use a brick or a block and you can place it underneath and it becomes a bit of a restorative pose. You place it under here and it holds you up. That's quite nice. So deep, strong breaths, keeping your knees so that they're hip width apart. Releasing the hands and then placing one vertebrae at a time back onto the mat. Exhaling down. And then bringing the knees into the chest again for rocking from side to side. And bring your hands to your feet and rocking around your happy baby. Give yourself a nice stretch out. You could also, if it feels like you can do this, you could put your peace fingers around your toes and stretch out your legs as well. That's always quite a nice thing to do. We did a standing one of these, didn't we? So it's always nice to revisit that. And then bring your legs down into Supta Badhakonasana. So your feet are touching and your knees are wide apart. Resting here. You can always place blocks or cushions or anything underneath your knees as well, underneath your thighs. That's quite a nice way. And then you can always stay here for relaxation for a bit afterwards. Otherwise, we're going to either stay there or we're going to bring our legs down and just have a moment in Shavasana. Do make yourself comfortable with a blanket if you need to. Just rest here for a moment. Feeling yourself completely relaxed and heavy on the mat. Just for another moment. And then bring your knees up and folding over onto your side. And then bringing yourself back up to seated. After our short relaxation. And then bring the hands to the heart center. Gently relax the body, lifting and through the crown on the inhale and relaxing on the exhale. Start to soften the breath. Thank you for sharing this practice. Namaste. Thank you for joining me. It's always a pleasure to have you on my channel.
Oh, radiant sun, pure consciousness, flaming orb of truth and bliss, remove the veil so I can see.